I'm Eric Barnes with the Daily Memphian, and welcome to The Sidebar, a weekly show on the community, arts, culture, and more. Today we're very pleased to be talking with Virginia Reed Murphy. She's founder of Everystory, formerly Playback Memphis. So stay with us for a conversation with Virginia. Virginia, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We'll get to the name change. People know Playback Memphis, and I guess about 6-7 months ago now, you guys changed to Everystory. But just regardless of the name, give the 30 seconds. What is Everystory? If you're stuck in an elevator and you got to tell somebody what you do as founder and now head of advancement, what is it?
Yeah. So we train and employ professional artists to apply the unique art form of playback theater to co-create and catalyze community well-being, social healing, and flourishing culture. So I think a lot of people may not know what playback theater is, and I'll share that it's a kind of improvisational storytelling, sharing, and witnessing theater. So if you were to come to a performance, you would see a black box theater, and we have a diverse ensemble of musicians and actors and dancers, and we share bits of our stories and moments from our lives, and then we invite the audience to do the same, and we bring those stories to life.
And so I don't want to say it's not just theater, but it's not just theater,
it's not
right?
Just theater.
Yeah.
No,
that part maybe people don't know.
Yeah.
That there's this kind of more social purpose and this kind of not that theater in as people think about it doesn't have a connection with the audience and have meaning and can change people's lives and so on. This is a much more purposeful. Is that the right word?
Yes, I think from its foundations, its very roots are, at the intersection of arts and social healing and social change. We sometimes say it unites art with social healing and change.
And is there something uniquely about the spoken word in this theater setting and that helps achieve those goals?
Well, I think what's unique about it is our commitment to the practice of playback theater as an ensemble. So we're an ensemble of 14 members, and, to prepare for a performance, we gather ourselves monthly to reflect on our own lives, what's rich and wonderful, what's complex and challenging, both the personal stories and also how we're impacted by the collective stories and what's happening in our broader world, of which there's a lot. And we're trained to deeply listen to one another and to ourselves and kind of attune to what we're feeling in a way that we just kind of at the pace that our society moves at, we don't typically do. And so when we come to a show, we're prepared and we've done that work ourselves, and our audiences sense that and they feel a level of trust and they share with us.
Is, the notion of theater and of performance, does it allow you all as performers to say things you might not otherwise say? Or go to places you might not otherwise go if you're sitting with somebody having coffee that you don't know? Because again, there's an audience of people that in many cases, you don't know them. So you're talking about things, again, might be funny, might be sad, might be difficult. And is that sort of structure or that theater relationship create more openness?
Yes. And I think you said the word structure, and our work has a lot of ritual in it. So, and I think that does create a kind of safe container for people to feel, that they're able to share and know that they will, be seen and heard and affirmed. And I think that, yes, that space does give us, the kind of courage, if you will, to do that with our audiences. And then the practice, I think the idea is that then we get nourished by that. So then we can take that out of the theater and actually have, open-hearted, honest conversations with one another in real time in a way that doesn't typically happen, as you said.
For the audience, I mean, you talked about they will interact, they will respond,
yes,
they will. Yeah. So how does that go? And does that go really great? Does that sometimes go badly, and then you're kind of, it's like improv. Like you see,
It is
sometimes you see
improv.
improv, and the improv troupe it gets a little haywire for a minute, and then really good improv troupes can figure out a way to bring it back on
Yes.
track, whatever that
Yes.
is, to be funny, to be whatever it is that they're trying to get to. Now you've got this live audience who's maybe has some sense of what they're getting into, but how do you work with them? How do you draw them out? How do you engage them in a productive and entertaining, for lack of a better word, way?
Yeah. Well, I would say the first piece of that is that we create an environment, and that environment is infused with music. Our work is very intentionally spirit lifting. When we open a show, as I said, the ensemble members share bits of their own stories. And so we're modeling the kinds of sharing that we're inviting from the audience. And they literally, if they see Tree share a story about, how he's struggling in the year since his mom passed, and his, what he's carrying in his heart, that touches somebody, and then they get a little courage to share about something they're carrying. And it works, it really, there's a facilitator that's known as the role of the conductor.
Yeah.
And so the conductor really supports the audience in understanding what's the intention and purpose. Because it's very much a community practice of deep and generous listening, with the intention to see each other with a little bit more understanding and empathy.
When you doing this when did Playback, now Everystory, launch? 2008?
Yes, that's correct. Is when we founded Playback Memphis. Now, Playback Theater is a global movement.
Great. Okay. Yes. You talked about listening and empathy, and over the last, and I'm actually thinking 2008. We went into the financial crisis and the Great Recession, and also social media. And we know now, social media had started, but I feel like somewhere in that period of time, Obama famously used social media in a way no other candidate had used it in his election. And now social media is ubiquitous. And have you seen in your audiences and in the participants and everybody in the whole approach to this, a change in how we listen and don't listen, and a lack of empathy? Or not. Because a lot of people, Jonathan Haidt, who's written a lot about, the dangers of social media and screens in schools and among young people, and the studies around Instagram, especially around young women, girls, but youth generally, has that played out and changed how your performances and the audience interact with you?
That's a really good question. I would say one thing that I have noticed is that during seasons in which there is really activated collective trauma in the world, of which we've experienced plenty of since 2008, there is a little bit of a reservation to speak personal stories, which is really the heart of Playback Theater, because we're all so distracted may not be the right word, but consumed by the larger narratives that are impacting us, but not necessarily, they're communal stories, if you will. But I will say that having done this work for 18 years, I have not seen the audience have a less empathic response. Now, there's a lot that goes into preparing people, for how to listen and witness. And, part of the work is sharing the values that our theater is anchored in. And so we're not doing this in a kind of casual or way.
That's
and that if you did it in that way, you might absolutely have that experience. But we have a very skilled team and a lot of intentionality in our mission and vision.
And you work with a lot of students.
Yes, we do. We have a program, Be the Peace, that is focused on work with young people.
At what ages?
From rising fifth graders through young adults.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is actually a program where we train young people in the art of playback theater. And through that, they build skills in listening, and it culminates in a performance. And they also, there's a piece of it in which we guide them through a shared exploration of 6 core attitudes that are really essential for our work as actors.
What example of some of those 6 core?
Gratitude, trust, curiosity, patience, humor, and non-judgment. And so what we found, we were for many years, our public performance, Memphis Matters, was largely where people engaged with us. And we still perform, for an audience at Theater South every other month. But we really found that the skills and attitudes that we have to, develop as performers to do our work with the deepest integrity and excellence are, vital skills for helping people grow in self-awareness, to be able to emotionally regulate, to build empathy. So when we work with young people, those are some of the outcomes that we see. It really, when you listen and share and embody stories, it helps build a kind of internal agency and optimism and voice, and you're part of a community. So.
Right. Yeah. And Natalie, our producer here sitting next to me, correct me, it is Jonathan Haidt is how you pronounce it, but it looks like Haidt, H-A-I-D-T. And that's great that you haven't seen big shifts in the way the young people you're working with in terms of phones and social, all the worst fears that we have,
people are longing to have
the opposite
connected, personal relationships where there's trust and goodwill, and that happens in this space. And so when people, and all we have a partnership. We have a lot of different partnerships that we've activated, particularly in the last year. One of our partners, Memphis Allies, who, you're probably aware of their work.
Violence really working with difficult situations, try to intervene with people before violence happens. And
at the highest risk of gun violence.
Yes.
And so we, because we know that we have these tools that are quite effective at engaging people, particularly individuals who, have experienced complex trauma, and so we're partnering with them, and we deliver our Be the Peace training right now to a group of 12 of their switch participants. They have a program support with the intention to create hope, which they do a lot of amazing work. And so these young people come in, and this is something that they have never experienced before.
Yeah.
Many of them have never even been to the theater. We're fortunate that right now our team includes some ensemble members some of whom have been past program participants. So they have, lived experience similar to the participants that we're engaging in our partnership with Memphis Allies. And this week we have a performance where they're going to engage an audience and listen to their stories and play those back. And, it's just extraordinary to me, the effectiveness of this model, because it can engage groups who are highly resistant and be.
Well, you would stereotypically think, that's it. You're walking into a group that, you would think many young people, I would think me as a young person, when I was in junior high or when I was in high school, I would have been incredibly resistant. They're too cool for this, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not singling these kids out, but these are kids with a lot of trauma.
Oh, yeah.
But it does resonate.
It does. And we're skillful in knowing how to transform resistance, because ultimately, at some level, resistance is, it's fear of the unknown. It's, attachment
I'm sure.
And so so they do, and I think that it's been remarkable to it's always remarkable to see the journey of a group of young people that goes through this program.
We'll take a minute here, but we're here with Virginia Reed Murphy of Everystory, formerly Playback Memphis. But let me remind everyone, this is The Sidebar. I'm Eric Barnes. The Sidebar airs on WYXR 91.7 every Thursday at 11:30. Focus on the community, arts, culture, everything in between. It's also not just a radio show. It's one of many podcasts we do at the Daily Memphian, including our morning podcast, the AM DM, with Natalie Van Gundy, our producer here, as well as Mary Casciola, our editorial director. We also have the Memphis Grizzlies podcast with Drew Hill and Chris Harrington. And we have our food podcast, Soundbites, with Holly Whitfield. Soundbites also airs here on WYXR every Thursday at 11. We also host the podcast version of Behind the Headlines, the TV show we produce with the folks at WKNO every week. All of our podcasts are on the Daily Memphian site, as well as iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get the WYXR shows at WYXR.org or on the WYXR app, including all of the WYXR shows, not just the Daily Memphian ones. That includes all the talk shows, all the music shows, archives of past shows, a great way to keep up with what's happening at WYXR. Support WYXR. It's a nonprofit, listener-supported radio. You can become a member and get all kinds of benefits, or you can just do a one-off donation at the site or on the app. And if you're not a paid subscriber to the Daily Memphian, do consider becoming one. We are the largest newsroom in the area, a nonprofit primarily supported by subscriptions and advertising and events, but we also do donations to support all the work we do, the free access in schools and libraries and so on. Coming up soon on the Sidebar, we'll have Lauren Reedy from Forever Ready, who's got a book that we're going to talk about. We've had Lauren on in the past. She's always great. She worked in TV news. She's done all kinds of cool stuff, cool documentaries. And recently we had Katie Smythe from New Ballet Memphis, and also trying to launch the new arts-focused school at the old Humes Middle School. We had the folks from Grind City Amp, the new amphitheater that's opening at Grind City Brewery. And we had folks from First Sunday Jazz Jam pop-up series on the show as well. On Behind the Headlines coming up, this week we've got Roderick Richmond, the interim superintendent for Memphis Shelby County Schools. Coming up soon, we've got Mayor Lee Harris, the county mayor. And recently we've done shows with Justin Pearson, the state representative, who's also running for the U.S. representative seat held by Steve Cohen, who was also on the show a few weeks back. You can get all those, again, as podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Go to Daily Memphian, go to WKNO for the Behind the Headlines episodes. And last bit of housekeeping, our commercial real estate seminar, the last of our business seminars and the biggest generally, is coming up on December 4th at 3 p.m. Paul Young, Mayor of Memphis, will be speaking, doing a Q&A with me. And then we've got a big overview of business and economic development in Memphis. It's not just for commercial real estate folks. It's really for anybody interested in what all the kinds of things going on in Memphis business and in the region. But we are still here with Virginia Reed Murphy of Everystory, formerly Playback Memphis. The name change. Was it six? I mentioned it was 7. Why a name change? I mean, it makes sense, I guess, after 17 years and you evolve. But people knew Playback Memphis. I mean, that
yes,
was,
a name change is a big deal.
Yeah.
We went through in 2024 a year-long process of transformational change process, a year-long transformational change process. And one of the things that we recognized is that the expansive scope of our programming really goes beyond what is typical in a playback theater company, of which there are hundreds across the globe. And so we felt like that a name change distinguished us from the broader playback theater community, although the roots of our,
Sure.
practice and work are absolutely in playback theater, and we're staying there, but just the expansive scope of our programming. And also as part of that process, we did some kind of future casting and claimed that we really wanted to focus our work on youth and also within youth-serving ecosystems. Our vision is a more peaceful, connected Memphis, and we know that a peaceful, connected, healthy community really begins with supporting young people in learning how to build peaceful, connected, healthy relationships with themselves, with one another, and then, have that ripple out. So we've activated some strong partnerships this year and are working to double our engagement. I think we have a goal of engaging 1,600 through participation in our programs, trainings, workshops, and also our performances, our audience members. And so we're really grateful and excited to be in, the midst of it all in a season that feels very alive with positive, good growth.
Yeah. And you've got a performance coming up December 13th?
We do have a performance coming up on Saturday, December 13th.
Yeah.
At 7 o'clock at Theater South.
And Theater South is in Cooper Young.
It is in First Congo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do people need tickets? Do they go to the website?
Yeah, you can go to everystory.org and find information and get a ticket. And it's a wonderful experience of Memphis.
This is a thing a rabbit hole I'm going to go down.
Okay, let's go.
So everystory.org was available.
It was.
As you wouldn't think that would be available. It's it's a really great, pithy, real, memorable name. And you would think somehow, somewhere, someone, because it's not even just everystorymemphis.org, like the actual everystory.org.
Yes, we are everystory.org.
That's pretty good. Did you have to bid on it?
Well, there's a story. There's a story. Maybe I'll do that as my intro at the next Memphis Matters.
Okay.
But you're correct.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. That surprised me. How did you get into this?
So my background, I was trained as a drama therapist.
Okay.
So I have a master's in counseling psychology. I was introduced to the art of playback theater in graduate school. And then went on, I was in a playback theater company in New York City in the early 2000s, where I met my husband, and he was in the company as well, Joe Murphy. And it was just such a rich and integral part of our lives when we were there that we decided if we were going to move back to Memphis that we wanted to found a playback theater company. And I think at that time, when we moved back, Memphis was suffering from some extremely low civic self-esteem. And I felt that, Playback Memphis could be, I wanted to be a part of the change that I felt there was a yearning towards.
Yeah. And did you, going back farther, were you a therapist before this? Or
I
okay, so you were a therapist, but always interested in theater as well? Did it just intersect?
Well, my training, and I actually, fresh out of college, I worked in a school that was a therapeutic setting for young people who'd been actually kicked out, removed from the public school system for behavioral issues. And that's how they described it at the time. Young people who had survived a lot of complex trauma. And that particular setting, they used a lot of arts as a medium for working therapeutically and for healing with the young people. And I just saw it to be very impactful. And that's what I just knew I was more interested in. And so then I did attend a graduate program that was focused on drama therapy. So, my training is very much in that field. And I actually thought that I would be, I would come when we moved back to Memphis, that I would work clinically and we would, like we did in New York, have a playback theater company on the side. But for a number of reasons, against the advice of many people who, when I said I'm going to start a nonprofit, no, don't do it. But you know what? It's been an amazing learning journey.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of who we are, where we are, why we are.
Yeah, well, I recommend no one should run a nonprofit, especially me. No, 8 years later, I've learned a lot about it. Where in New York were you?
In Fort Greene. We
Fort
lived
Greene.
in Fort
Okay.
Greene.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Brooklyn
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
mostly where I lived.
Okay. Yeah, well, I was in about a decade before that. My daughter's in that general area right now. It's
Yeah.
her birthday as we record this,
Yeah.
so happy
we
birthday,
still
kids.
have New York in our
Yeah,
hearts.
yeah. My thing about New York, I love New York. If I'm going to live in a big city in the world, it's going to be New York. But every time I'm up there, and I'm up there often, I cannot wait to get on the airplane and get out of there. I mean, you bleed money.
I know.
It's just, everything is a little bit difficult or a lot difficult, but it's amazing. I mean, you can do anything in the world there on a Wednesday afternoon,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But apparently it's not for me. I'm too weak.
When
or
I had my
something.
first son, he was born in Brooklyn. And
Yeah.
as soon as I figured out I would have to lug the stroller up the
Right.
subway steps, I just said, nope, I'm not.
Yeah. I totally
That's not
get it.
my ministry,
I know.
so to speak.
I see people doing it. I'm just like, wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Just a couple minutes left here. What did I miss?
So our mission is we bring stories to life to unlock healing and transformation and joy. And we do that through, our programs. And one thing that I did not mention is that we also have partnerships with organizations who contract us to lead professional development for their employees, which is a great way, that we're all about like different, having a healthy mix of revenue streams. And we recently kicked off a strong partnership with the Shelby County Division of Community Services. And so we have a training. It's called Listening for a Change. It's a trauma-informed, person-centered, holistic training for community transformation. And it really aligns with their pillars. And Sandy Bromley is phenomenal. She leads that division of community services, and she knew our work and invited us to engage all of their employees. So every Friday, we deliver this training, and people love it. It is, it supports well-being. It supports building, relationships that are rooted in connection and trust, and that, is great for teams. And so we're hoping to build on the success of that and continue to do more of that, because that then supports us to be able to go and offer Be the Peace, through another partnership, whether that's, and
Sandy will be joining us on Behind the Headlines in a couple of
Oh, that's right. Sandy will be. That's right. I knew that rang a bell.
She's like one of my favorite
Yeah.
humans in Memphis. I just have that.
That was the job that Dorcas Young had.
Another one of my
Dorcas,
most favorite humans in Memphis.
Moved into, who's a great person.
They're
but
both going to
sister
be at
of
the
Paul Young.
performance, the Be the Peace performance on Thursday. So
no, that's great. We are out of time. Last thing I always try to ask people, what was the first concert you went to?
Prince at the Coliseum.
Nice.
Purple Rain.
We've had that. We've definitely.
Had you? Oh, I need to know.
Yeah. We've had Prince. We've also had Prince at the Pyramid, I believe.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh no, I'm Coliseum.
Yeah. The Coliseum
it was
ones
so
are,
amazing.
Yeah, I bet.
Petra Summers' mom took us, and I just could not have been more grateful.
That is awesome. Again, Virginia Reed Murphy of Everystory, formerly Playback Memphis. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. If you missed any of the episode today, you can get the full episode at WYXR. You can go to Daily Memphian. You can go to iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next week.